J-Dog back for your 6 a.m. video. Got a few questions, not a ton, but first one, got two paid skis? Two? Michael Spore, paid question. He said, big dog, gym question. Oh! He says, lower weight, high reps to failure, or close to higher weight, low reps? What do you think is the best rep range for size? I was a power lifter and effed myself up, ego lifting. Yep, that dumbass powerlifting. Got my body healthy and I'm lifting again, not chasing 1 hour out, one rep max. Thanks, dog. Yeah, I don't know why anyone does that, man. Unless you're competing in powerlifting, and even then, here's a thing, dude. Don't even bother doing powerlifting unless the first day you step in the gym, the very first day you touch a barbell, if you cannot bench press 315, if you cannot deadlift over 405, so over 4 plates, and if you can't squat over 405, the first day, don't even bother. What do you mean, dog? That's fucking stupid. There's going to be exceptions to the rule. I think Stan Efferding's one, because I think he had a genetic, I think he was maybe testosterone deficient or something. You never know, especially when these guys talk about steroids. You don't know what's true and what's not. Who the fuck knows? But nonetheless, he was underdeveloped, and he was like this scrawny kid, and then obviously one of the strongest fucking people ever, right? With the rare exceptions like that, most successful powerlifters, those numbers I just said, they can do that the very first day they step in the gym. Very first day. For example, he was known as a very strong bodybuilder, Luke Sandow. Big fan of him. Rest in peace. Killed himself in 2019. Dog, got the pleasure to meet him. He was known as one of the stronger bodybuilders, and he benched the 200-pound incline, 200-pound dumbbells, 4 reps. None of this 1 rep max shit. 4.5 plates on the incline, 4 reps. Like, none of this 1-2 rep shit. Really strong. Got bent over rows with 5 plates, etc. Super strong. He even said in an interview, I think it was with Fuad Abiad on one of the Bodybuilding Bullocks, back when that channel was actually good, before it became just a whole bunch of dick and fart jokes. There's a few dick and fart jokes back then too, but nonetheless, it was good back then. He even said it the first day he stepped in a gym. Forget something like he just deadlifted 5 plates off the floor. First fucking day. Just pick it up. This feels kind of heavy. That was normal because you have that natural strength. What I'm getting at, if you do not have those natural numbers, yes, you can get much, much stronger, but you're not going to get to competitive levels. You have to have that natural talent. Again, there's exceptions to the rule. Stan Efferding's one of them. With that exception, you're never going to get there. If you're the normal guy, when you go into the gym and the first day you're benching 135 or 185 for 3 to 5 reps, that's what you can do. You have no chance, unless you're one of those extreme exceptions. Again, I got to stress that because I know some dummy's going to put in the comments, what about you? Yes, I know there's a handful of exceptions, but extremely fucking rare. I promise you, Eddie Hall, the first day he stepped in his gym, he was doing more than 225 on the bench. Before he even knew what the fucking bench press was even called, he was able to do more than 225. I promise you. Absolutely. And I don't even know his story. I don't need to. Hafthor Bjornsson, same thing. I guarantee all those strongman guys, they apply to what I said. Because if you're not, think about it. If you the first day you step in a gym, right, and you can only bench 135, your goal is to be a power lifter. They can get way stronger, way stronger, naturally, and then add steroids to it to get even stronger. Of course, that's what they all do, right? Yeah, you will get stronger. But the guy who's the same age as you, who started at the same time, his starting point was 3 plates aside, yours was 1. He does all the same things you do. Who do you think's going to be stronger in the end? His starting point was so much higher than yours. It was a genetic trait. So unless you have those numbers, stop wasting your time with dumbass powerlifting. You're just fucking up your joints for goddamn nothing. If you have a point where you can go at a very high level, makes sense then. Otherwise, you're wasting your goddamn time. In my personal opinion, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to piss and whine and disagree with that. That is fine. But in my opinion, what are you doing it for? It doesn't translate to beating people up, beating up them bullies. Because anyone that knows how to fight can still whoop your ass, even if they can bench half the weight you can. So it doesn't translate to that. Chicks don't give a fuck. The only people that are going to compliment you on your lift, like, oh man, that was sick, bro, is dudes. So if you're gay, then I guess if that applies to you. If you're gay, do that too. You'll get all the attention from the guys. There's no other point. And when you're walking around, you're all fucking fat and you don't even got abs. And like, yeah, I bench 400, bro. Guess what? When you're walking around Mr. Mall, nobody knows you can bench 400. They just see a fucking fat guy. Well, what are you curling? Snicker bars? That's what the hell it looks like. Nobody knows. So it's a complete goddamn waste of time. So quit wasting your time with dumbass 1 rep max. However, low weights versus, just the standard shit, homeboy. If you've been working out, you just kind of know this, between 5 to 12. That's what the research says. That's what makes sense. Just do it to failure, and that's it. Training's not that damn complicated. Switch it up from time to time. Legs seem to respond in a better rep range of 15 to 20. However, if you do 15 to 20 on legs and you got great results, that's going to plateau. Then go to 6 to 12 or so on that for a time period. Switch it up. So just switch up your rep ranges. I would say never. I've never in my life done anything less than 5 reps. I've always, that's a waste of time. Even 5, that's what the fuck you going that low for? But I've gone down to that low, or I don't even think I tended to. I think I was shooting for 8s, but failed at 5. So yeah, I don't think I've ever done a single lift in my entire life to where I've gotten less than 5 reps. Yeah, that's the minimum. So 5 to 20, let's just say. That's your that's what you want to go with, Holmes. Joe Guthman, big question. What's up, Justin? In a recent video, you mentioned you got a Dark Funeral vinyl bootleg that was dog shit. You threw it in the trash. I didn't throw it in the trash. I probably sold it or eBayed it or traded it or something like that. What are the worst boots you ever got? Thank you and cheers. That's one of them, but to be completely honest with you, the general rule of thumb is, which I guess, this is a strong guess, is when some people hate on bootlegs, where they're like, oh, they're shit. Well, get with the times, Grandpa. For the last 25 years, no. In the 90s and 80s and stuff, yeah, a lot of them were. They were absolute garbage. Like, get any bootleg that came out in the 90s or 80s of Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, any of those, they're almost all garbage. There was a label that started putting out good boots by bands like Iron Maiden. I think they've maybe done some Sabbath. But that was right around the early 2000s. Early 2000s when boots started getting good. The label was called Swinging Pig Records. And the Maiden boots look cool because I don't know where the hell they get their art or whatever. It was like Maiden fan art, but it looked like it was things of Eddie and stuff. So I don't know where the hell they got them. But it looked like, I don't know. If you know, you know. Like if you've seen them, they look cool as hell. I don't know exactly what year Swinging Pigs started. I don't even know where. I'm assuming somewhere in Europe. I've got a few boots by them, and right around that time, and like for example, I'm not gonna say the best because I haven't seen them all, but definitely one of the best. And if not the best that I own a handful of Sabbath boots. The best Black Sabbath boot is, that was put out in the early 2000s as well, is a triple LP box set. I think it's on the Sabotage tour. Really nice, everything. So basically when people say boots are shit, it's like you only get that pass if you're getting them in the 90s and down, because a lot of times they were. But it's kind of like, where you been, Grandpa? They sound like shit. Some do, but sometimes that's the recording. And not to mention, these guys don't know what the definition of sound like shit is. Sounding like shit is, for example, I remember, who I do know put them out, obviously I'm not going to say, the Death Demos. When the Death Demos first came out on CD, there's part 1 and there's part 2. It's funny because recently, at least part 1, I don't know if part 2 has, part 1 has been recently a boot of a boots, because how I know we got some in. I was like, oh shit, I remember these. And they came out in the early 2000s. Before that, those releases, they were like not back to back, but part 1 came out, and then maybe like 6 months to a year later, part 2 came out. Prior to those, nobody had the Death Demos. It's all 5 demos. Part 1 is the Mantis Death by Metal demo, the Reign of Terror demo, and then a couple rehearsals on there. Dog owns it, of course. Rehearsals have like cover songs by like Venom, doing Poison. And then part 2 is demos 3, 4, and 5 with Evil Chuck singing on them. It was originally because the first 2 demos is Cam Lee singing on them. At least some people say for the Reign of Terror, it's not. So I'm almost positive that Cam Lee sings on both, but I've heard some people say, no, Evil Chuck sings on the Reign of Terror, just Cam Lee only sings on Death by Metal. We can confirm that if I got a goddamn Cam Lee interview. I've asked, and then I've heard whispers. Oh, he wants me to go on his podcast too. It's like, email me, bro. Number one, you have my email. We've talked in email. Like he talked about coming up during Cinema Wasteland one of the weekends, and we were going to do it in person, but family shit came up, and then he canceled. Cool. So we went back and forth a few emails. I even asked him to play Dead by Dog. I asked, dude, Dead by Dog Volume 1. My headliner I was first thinking initially, or maybe I was still brought an overseas band, but I was going to have play, was going to be Massacre, but I specifically asked Cam, I want old songs, not this From Beyond bullshit. I'm not saying don't play any From Beyond, but demo songs, literally specifically, Aggressive Tyrants, Be a Later, and Death. Like songs that you never hear. I was like, I don't want no Hoagie Jabroni 2000s crap. And he was thinking about it or whatever, but whatever, that kind of fell through. So nonetheless, he has my email. It's like, email me, dude. Like, what are you doing? Because I've got wind. I think it was Don the Dead that hit me up. He's like, yeah, Cam Lee wants you on his podcast. Fucking email me, dude. And even if he lost it, it's on every fucking video. This video. So if Cam sees this, open the description box, buddy. My email's right there. I'm the easiest person in the metal scene to get a hold of. So nonetheless, we could clarify that because that's one of my goddamn questions. Did you sing on Reign of Terror or not? I always would have done the impression that he does, but some people said, I think it might have been Pat from Hellwitch in my Hellwitch interview. He might have said he doesn't. No, he only sings on Death by Metal. Don't quote me. I'm not saying Pat said it. I think, but we talked about Death and maybe, but I have heard that. Nonetheless, Death Demos 3, 4, and 5 were on part 2 discs. Those sound fantastic. When those came out, somebody, they sound like shit. They sound mint. No, that's what demos sound like, you fucking commercial listening goddamn poser. Because it doesn't sound like the new goddamn Vader album or some crappy Behemoth record. No, that's what UG metal sounds like. Yeah, it doesn't sound like your new crappy ass Steve Tucker fucking Morbid Angel album. There's a difference between that and sounding like shit to where you're like, I can't even distinguish what's going on. It's like I can't hear the vocals. That's a big one. We can't even hear the vocals at all. Or it's just, it's a complete fuzz. That type of crap, that's what a lot of live boots back in the day. Now, still get me wrong, there is some boots that, quote unquote, the sound isn't that great. But again, if you're in the audio world, if you collect and if you know, and if you collect boots and you exchange audios with people and stuff like that, you'll know this. Certain eras, it's impossible to get good sounding shit. For example, if you want like a Megadeth recording that's like first album or before the first album came, there's only a few recordings that exist. Of course they don't sound mints. So when somebody puts them out, this kind of sounds like shit. It's like, what do you got from 84, buddy? Well, I got this live Countdown from Extinction tour. Right. Jabroni garbage nobody cares about. That's the difference. So you got to understand, sometimes that's all that exists. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can fucking do. So when that stuff comes out, it's like, that makes sense. But if you're going to just put out a random dark funeral show and it's unlistenable, and then the quality of the vinyl, because it was pressed in Brazil and stuff, was just complete useless garbage, that was common. Very, very common in the 90s and 80s, etc. So, but times have changed. That's why when people still rip on boots, I'm like, boots have been, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying no shit boots have came out in the last 25 years. They have. But I would say 85% of boots that have come out in the last 25 years are good. At least good quality and, or at least acceptable quality at the very least, if not great and awesome looking. There's some shit ones here and there. There was a guy in the UK that was doing boots for a while. I think he's dead or in jail because we used to get his shit in trade all the time. You throwing him on the bus, dog? No, I'm not. He's in the United Kingdom. I don't even know the guy's fucking name. He never even sent under his actual real name. I literally don't even know the guy's name. We have a code name from him around the shop. We always call him kind of, I'm not going to even say that, but it would make no sense to you guys because it was a in-house joke and there was a reason for it because we literally didn't know the guy's name. It would just be his address. Maybe it was a fake address. Who knows? And that when we'd buy the boots from him, they came from the United Kingdom, and his boots were ass. Fold over covers. There'd be crop marks on some of them and shit. It's like, why'd you stock them, dogs? People wanted them. People asked for them. It's the hell marks. He was doing those, but he's been gone for at least a decade. So obviously in the last 25 years, there was him. His shit was junk. Couple other exceptions, but most of them, like, they're all good. They're good. They're awesome. So get with the times, grandpas. If you don't freaking know, if you don't know that boots are the best within the last 25 years. Michael Prince sent this question in. He says, Blast and Cruiser. So another goddamn gym question you guys hate. Don't worry, we'll end it here anyways. So we're on with questions. I got a couple more order questions and slowing down. So I got to space these out. Fine by me. Shorter videos is plenty fine with the dog. I'm slammed. He says blasting crews versus cycling. So obviously he's talking about steroids. Maybe you guys will find that interesting since you think those guys think the scariest things on earth. Even though you're all sitting there sucking on bottles and smoking weed, and some of you doing worse shit than that. It's like, okay, well, you live a million times unhealthier lifestyle than steroids will ever fucking be. So whatever. Blasting crews versus cycling. He's like, Dave Palumbo, my boy, believes you need to come off everything completely for 8 weeks to increase androgen sensitivity. Most guys don't come off anymore. That's 100% true, yes. Is Dave's method a thing of the past and he needs to get with the times? That is a debate in the scene, I guess. Today's debate is what they do is when their version of coming off is going down to what they call a TRT dose, which they're all full of shit. I would say there's less than 10 guys in the pro circuit that are going down to true TRT, which is max 200 milligrams. So you're not doing true TRT, you're doing sports TRT, if you want to even call it that. That's not even an official term, but it's a term that's thrown around. But even that, so they go to a lower dose of testosterone, let's say 200 to 500 milligrams. These big 300-pound behemoths. The theory behind that is it's much healthier to come down to a replacement dose than let your hormones be all over the fucking place for 8 to 12 weeks of being completely off. However, is what that theory doesn't realize is that if these guys are doing 3 grams, let's say, a total a week, and they come down to 300 milligrams, a tenth of the dose, literally, your shit's going to be all over the place anyways. And you'll notice on labs or they're feeling, like, for example, you're still going to get the estrogen rebound. You're going to get a little bit more acne at that time. It's because your shit's you went from an enormous dose to a much, 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 much lower dose. So there's no difference. You're getting that fluctuation regardless if you go down to a little bits or completely off. So it's like, is it healthier? And they're like, well, yeah, because it's not healthy to walk around with zero testosterone. Well, you're talking for 8 to 10, 12 weeks. What the fuck do you think is possibly going to happen? Nothing. So there's that theory. I'm not saying that theory is wrong, but that is what the ongoing theory and how guys justify it, aka coping mechanisms, aka justifying drugs, aka drug addicts. But I'm not saying they're wrong. But at the same time, a heroin addict justifies and has every reason in the book why I'm in pain. I'm just using it for pain. It's better than me being in so much pain and that I'm so miserable and so angry that I kill my family and kill myself. It's better to use a drug, right? I mean, literally, that's some of their self-talk. So can you argue with that? I guess he's not wrong, right? So it's okay for him to do heroin. So you could justify anything in your head. And that's exactly what these guys in the bodybuilding scene do. But again, I'm not saying that theory is wrong. But here's another thing. This is the way I look at two things. Number one, Michael, I'm not sure why you're too concerned with this topic. You're my age, and so I hate to burst your bubble, like, in case this is your thing, is like, at your age, it's not very smart to consider to try to get bigger. That's completely dumb. It's like you're trying to sow your muscle oats in your 40s. Very stupid. The time to do that was in your 20s. So if you missed out, that's on you, dude. Number two, even if you do try, you're going to only go so far because you're in your 40s. If you're new to shit, you will get bigger, but you're not going to be able to go as far as if you would have done in your 20s. That's 100% fact, so you already got a handicap on it. And number three, it's like, for what? I mean, you're not trying to compete. So you can walk around being Mr. Mall. Again, even when it comes to this shit, nobody cares other than dudes. Chicks do not fucking care. As long as you're lean and you got some abs, you're good to go. You do not need slabs of fucking muscle. All you're going to do is get attention from guys. So I'm not sure why you're concerned about which is the best or not. But two things to say about that. If you are, one, try it. One season, go down to a TRT dose like these guys say today, or whatever the hell you think they're doing. Do that. Write down your progress. How much did you make when you for the following season? Well, next one, come completely off. 8, 10, 12 weeks. Jump back on. Write it down. Compare. Which did you make better results? There's the truth for your body. Problem solved. Try both out. And another thing to answer that too is, who, by most people's definition, are the best bodybuilders of all time? What era? 90s, early 2000s. What era was Dave from? 90s, early 2000s. The guy was 318 pounds, shredded. Now, he didn't get on stage that, but you ever see him at 318 pounds? He was extremely single-digit body fat still. That's considered a mass monster and beyond fucking impressive. His method might be right. Might know a thing or two. Not to mention the guys at are best. People say, Kevin Levrone came off for 6 months. Didn't even train. Traveled the world with his crappy Creed-worshipping rock band. Sean Ray, Ronnie Coleman. Everybody knows Ronnie Coleman. Greatest Michael Jordan of bodybuilding. He took, after the Olympia, took the last 3 months of the year off. And when he says off, it wasn't just off drugs. Came completely off all drugs, not even a TRT. Even Chad Nichols confirms that. And he didn't even go to the fucking gym. 3 months off. Just chilling, bro. Just chilling, man. Let my body recover. Start back up January. Michael Jordan of bodybuilding. Flex Wheeler comes off. So that's the era that everybody says, best era in bodybuilding. That's what the best did. Does that answer your question? So I think Dave might know a goddamn thing or two, so might want to listen. Any questions? Get them in. Description box, you can send those Painskis in. Or Hell's Order, get them in. Or if you want that personalized Zoom, in the description box, how to do it, Bubbles. Later.